here. This giving us our power for the draw works, giving us power to trip with, power for our pumps, and also for our shakers down here, and it's giving us our electricity for everything.
Okay, let's take a break before we start the next section. Stop the program, and if you've got a workbook, answer the questions. Then start the program again. It takes a lot of equipment to drill a well. But the rig also needs a skilled and dedicated team to operate and maintain the equipment. So let's find out more about the drilling team you're part of. The company you work for is a drilling contractor. The contractor owns the rig you work on. Of course, the people in the contractor's office don't work on the rig, but they support you and the rig team. Among many other things, they see to it that you get paid. Without them, the contractor couldn't run the business. The drilling company usually doesn't own the wells it drills. Instead, an oil company or operating company owns the well. The operating company pays the drilling contractor to drill the well. Big operating companies include ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP, Shell, and so on. But many small independent operating companies are around too. Your rig may drill holes for them as well. Often, the operating company has a representative on the rig site. The company representative, or company man, works with the drilling contractor to make sure the drilled hole meets the operating company's specifications. This is the tool pusher. The tool pusher is the drilling contractor's top person on the site. He or she is the overall team leader and is ultimately responsible for everything on the rig. Because the contractor is drilling the hole for the oil company, the tool pusher works closely with the company representative. The guy you'll get to know well, your immediate team leader, is the driller. The driller not only supervises you and the rest of the floor crew, but also runs the rig. He controls the rig from his position on the rig floor. The derrick man handles the upper end of the drill pipe when it's in the derrick. The derrick man works with the drilling mud when the bit is on bottom and drilling. He or she routinely checks the mud to ensure that it meets specifications. Also, the derrick man operates and does routine maintenance on the mud equipment. One place you'll be working is on the rig floor near the rotary table. That's why your job title is rotary helper or floor hand. One job is to help set slips. Slips are special wedges that suspend drill pipe in the hole when it is off bottom. And you'll work with the tongs. Tongs are big, heavy-duty wrenches that you use to screw and unscrew joints of pipe. You'll get plenty of hands-on training with these tools. When working with tongs, watch where you place your fingers and hands. It's easy to get them caught between the tongs and a joint of pipe. And watch your hands when setting slips. Your hand can get caught between the slip handle and the drill pipe. This person is latching a pipe lifting tool on drill pipe. The tool is called the elevator. The elevators allow the driller to raise or lower pipe out of or into the hole. You have to be careful where you place your hands so they don't get caught between the elevator operating handles and the drill pipe. This crew is setting stands of drill pipe back in the derrick as they come out of the hole. This is another place you want to be careful. It's pretty easy to get your hand or fingers caught between the stand you're setting back and another stand. You'll also roll joints of pipe across the pipe rack from time to time. Again, be very careful where you put your hands and fingers. Pipe's heavy, so be careful. Of course, while the bit is on bottom and drilling ahead, you'll have other duties. For one thing, keeping the rig floor clean and orderly is vital to safe work. Good housekeeping is essential. and there's always maintenance work that needs to be done. And speaking of safe work, the rig is no place for horseplay or practical jokes. It's too easy for someone to get hurt.
Y'all end up getting mad, y'all gonna be fighting or something, that'll rock y'all up.
One thing you should do, though, is drink plenty of water. Water is really the best thirst quencher. Carbonated drinks, coffee, or tea actually make you thirstier. When you're working hard, you should drink at least 2 quarts of water every hour. And it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold weather, 2 quarts an hour. In hot weather, beware of heat exhaustion. The symptoms? Headache, muscle cramps, and lightheadedness or dizziness. If you experience these symptoms in hot weather, notify the driller immediately. Heat exhaustion could lead to heat stroke, which can be fatal. So don't try to tough it out. Of course, in cold weather country, you have the opposite problem, staying warm. The key is to dress in layers. Put a cotton shirt next to your body, then warmer layers on top of it. To help you remember who's who, here is the rig team again. While not an actual member of the rig crew, the company representative is the operating company's person on the rig site. The company rep works with the tool pusher, also called the rig superintendent or rig manager. The pusher is the drilling contractor's top person on the rig. As for the actual rig team, the driller works directly under the tool pusher. The driller is the team leader. He or she supervises the derrick man and the rotary helpers or floor hands. You'll also work with personnel who come out to the rig for special tasks. They work for firms like casing and cement companies. Cooperate with them and assist them when necessary. But if you don't know enough about the job, don't be shy about asking. And if you don't understand, don't do the job. And also, if you see something you think is unsafe, tell the driller. Safety is everybody's job. Keep in mind that you're a member of a team. Teamwork is what rig work is all about. Every team member depends on the other. So it makes sense for the company to ban alcohol, drugs, and firearms from the rig site. Rig work is hard enough without anyone's reflexes and thought processes being screwed up by drugs or alcohol. And you'll never need a rifle or a gun on the rig. Your company is so serious about this ban that they have a right to search you for contraband at any time without warning. And they have the right to test you for drugs and alcohol at any time. So, no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, period. However, if you're taking a prescription drug or a legitimate but non-prescription drug, be sure and tell your supervisor. Most prescribed medicines are okay, but the company needs to know about it. Some prescribed drugs or medications can cause drowsiness. We don't want you to get injured, so inform your supervisor. If you smoke, keep in mind that you can only smoke in designated areas. The rig floor is not one of them. Your driller will show you where it's okay to smoke. Drilling goes on around the clock, day in, day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thus, you may work during the day or at night. Depending on policy, you'll work either 8-hour or 12-hour shifts. Rig workers call shifts towers. It's spelled T-O-U-R, but for some unknown reason, it's pronounced like tower, T-O-W-E-R. On rigs with 12-hour towers, 2 crews split the 24-hour day. On rigs with 8-hour towers, 3 crews split the day. Crews working 8-hour towers usually drive to the rig and back home every day. They often carpool. But crews working 12-hour towers usually work 7 days on and 7 days off. That is, they work 7 days straight and then go home for 7 days. Sometimes they work 14 on and 14 off. It depends on the situation. In this case, crew members usually drive separate cars. If you're working 7 on and 7 off, and if your rig is far from town, the company may provide living quarters for you at the rig. If the rig's fairly close to a town with a motel or hotel, they might put you up there. And if the rig happens to be close to home, then you can head there for your off hours. If you have quarters at the rig site, remember that teamwork applies here too. Help keep the facilities clean and tidy. And don't overlook your own cleanliness. You'll be living in close quarters, so personal hygiene is important. Stay clean and bring plenty of clean clothes to wear while you're off duty. This is your home away from home during your hitch. Your rig may have laundry facilities. If it does, use them. But don't wash greasy rig clothes in the machine. Degrease your clothes before you put them in the washing machine. Otherwise, they'll mess up the washer and everything in it. Whether you carpool or drive your own car to the rig, you should be alert and not sleepy. Falling asleep at the wheel not only puts you in danger, but also the other drivers. Obey all traffic laws and always fasten your seatbelt. So what have you just learned? Well, you know that the head honcho on the rig is the tool pusher. You also know that a typical rig crew is made up of the driller, derrick man, and 2 or 3 rotary helpers. What's more, you know to watch out for pinch points, places where your fingers and hands can get caught between something. And you have to say no to drugs, alcohol, or firearms on the rig. You know that you should smoke only in designated areas. You'll work either 8-hour towers or 12-hour towers. If you have rig living quarters, keep them and yourself clean. No greasy rig clothes in the washing machine. And finally, drive only when you're alert, obey all traffic laws, and fasten those seatbelts. All right, let's take a break. Stop the player and come back when you're ready to continue. So far, you've seen the major parts of a drilling rig. The personnel who work on a rig, and some things about rig life. Now, let's talk about safety. The company you work for has made a big commitment to safety, really. But you've got to do your part too. So let's look first at some safety equipment, and then we'll go over some safety procedures. The first thing about safety equipment concerns not what you wear, but what you don't wear. When at work on the rig, remove all your jewelry, like rings and wristwatches. Here's why. Not a pretty sight, is it? We're not trying to make you sick, but you can see that if your ring got caught on something, it could take your finger off. So no jewelry. What do you wear? Your basic outfit is work clothes. You're going to get dirty. That's the nature of the job. But dirty is no excuse for wearing ragged clothes. This person is wearing long pants and a shirt with sleeves. His shirt tail is tucked in. And no big tears or raggedy strips of clothing stick out. His clothing is protecting his skin, and nothing hangs or sticks out that could get caught on a piece of turning equipment. And having nothing hanging out that could get caught applies to your cold weather gear, too. And you'll wear personal protective equipment, PPE for short. PPE helps keep you injury-free. Basic PPE includes head protection, eye protection, hand protection, and foot protection.